How's it going, guys? I am not Michael Zuber, but he's here with me on his own channel, so why am I introducing him as a guest? That kind of doesn't make sense. What I want to ask him is a question that he just posed to me. And that question was, Mike, Millennial Mike, what do you think, after all the years you followed my content, read the book, watched the videos on the channel, what do you think that the three core tenets, the three core takeaways, the most important messages of my channel are? What are those? And so what I want to ask Mike is now I want to see if he agrees with me, if he's just going to copy what I said because it was so eloquently stated and he just couldn't possibly hope to say something better, or if he's going to disagree with me, put me in my place and shame me. So Mike Zuber, one rental at a time, what do you think are the three most core tenets, most important pieces of advice that you give to people on your channel or from your book?
Yeah, so I had a little fairness because I had about 10 minutes to think about this, knowing that I was going to get this question after you got it. So you got it cold, I got 10 minutes. And I'm really thinking back to, you know, even before one rental at a time was a thing, right? So I retire financially free. I have that event. I spend, a couple of weeks or months getting depressed, not knowing what to do, then start drafting one rental at a time, starting YouTube, all that good stuff. So the first thing that I kind of anchored on is I believe real estate investing is a skill. And I have consumed hundreds of books, thousands of hours of content. And I don't think anybody has ever anchored on the fact that real estate investing is a skill. They try to make it other things. And I believe real estate investing is a skill. I believe I believe it's a skill, it could be taught. That's the thing to me, right? When it's a skill, it could be taught. If it's just naturally God-given gifts, I can't teach that. Because it's a skill, and I've anchored on that, I believed it could be taught, but I didn't know how. So the first thing I anchor one rental at a time on is real estate investing is like more like a recipe than art, right? I am not artistic. Olivia is. She could look at something and it doesn't matter the median, do something. Not me, but I can follow a recipe in a cookbook pretty well. Probably still screw it up somewhere, but be close. So I believe real estate investing is the latter, not the former. I think a lot of people make real estate investing an art because it makes them feel unique and special. I don't think that's true. I think there are some art-like things, but if most of us just treat it as a skill, we'd be much better off. So that's number one. Number two is, without question, do the work. And I spend an enormous amount of time breaking down do the work to simple steps. I believe most people fail because they don't do the work. I believe the next set of people fail because they do the work and then they do other work, right? I keep telling people the buy box in daily discipline in 20 minutes is not permission to do 40 minutes of something else. How many of you look at your buy box and then you go look at a second buy box or a third buy box, or you want to be buy and hold, but then you look at Airbnb and short-term rentals, or you want to do this and then you look at that? You guys are confusing yourself. If you are going to learn the skill, which I often refer to as a golf swing, learn the golf swing. Don't learn a golf swing and then go, I don't know, play baseball or basketball or something else. You're just going to confuse the body. You're going to lose the muscle memory. It's going to be lost. So do the work, hence build a spreadsheet. Here's an example, all of that stuff. And then the last thing I anchor on is, and I remember I was asked to speak at a Santa Clara event where I live, or near where I live. And it was a great time, hundreds of people there, big applause, blah, 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 blah. And I felt good until I went to the parking lot. And I overheard a couple speaking. They didn't see me. Basically, the husband told the wife, good for him. I'm glad we came, but we can't do that. I'm like, and the whole reason that came about is I thought at the time I should pound my chest and talk about hundreds of units. It's too big. Talking about hundreds of units makes you the investor look good. It's too big for the average person. So I do not talk about units. You are hard pressed to get me to talk about it. I talk about getting to from 0 to 1, 1 to 4, 4 to 10. That's all I talk about. If I can get people to 4 units over 4 years or 8 years, we change their life forever. We could change generations with 4 rental properties.
Right.
So that's the last thing. So the 3 things for me is 1 rental at a time. Real estate investing is a skill. It's not art. It can be learned. It can be learned by anybody. 2, you got to do the work. There is no easy button. In fact, most people try to look for cheat codes and it's not there. And then 3, let's just talk about getting to 4.
Mhm.
So those are what I think. What do you think?
I think those are good. I do. And I think it's interesting to see the difference in perspective from someone who learned from the content versus the teacher who's putting out what their version is, because the message is going to resonate differently with everybody. You know, there's definitely certain things that I have strength in that maybe another student might not. So when it comes to something like it's a skill that you have to learn, well, I've approached everything in my life that way. So it wasn't a foreign idea to me. It was just, oh, of course it is. Of course I can learn. And so maybe to some people, they might think that you're correct. Like, oh, well, you know, maybe just some people are just better at it. Well, no, it's a skill that you can learn. So yeah, our ideas of the core tenets were similar. Obviously, number 2 for you was the exact same that I had, you know, doing the work. But yeah, very interesting. And then keeping it simple, because yeah, if you compare your year 1 to somebody else's year 10 or year 20, you're going to feel so overwhelmed that it might cause you to just not even take action. So yeah, interesting to hear your perspective on it.
Awesome. Well, Mike, thank you very much for all you do. I appreciate you. I thank you for being the longest running returning guest. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.